Now, live is DC Police Chief Robert Contee, kind of getting us up to speed on where some of those biggest cases that you guys are investigating are at this point. Chief Contee, no doubt we appreciate your time, sir. Thank you so much. Let's start with the first question. I want to get an update. At least we know that every Monday you have a briefing kind of getting you up to speed on where some of those investigations lie that you guys are working on. What can you share with the public at this hour?
Yeah, well, thank you so much for the opportunity. We continue to focus in on violent crime in our city. And as you mentioned, on Mondays when we have these briefings and on Thursdays when we have these briefings, the common thing that we see time and time again are people who are being shot as a result of petty disputes, oftentimes. A simple argument, a bumping of the shoulders, a wrong look to someone oftentimes will end up in the firearm being used. And we're still seeing far too much of that in our city. And one of the things that we're certainly focused on here in the Metropolitan Police Department.
Chief Contee, we've documented several incidents regarding young offenders, carjackings, armed robberies as of late. How are things going with MPD's efforts to try and curb violence among youth offenders?
So while right now in the city, we are focusing in the space of driving down violent crime, and we have been doing that. When you look back where we were in April, early May of this year, for example, in the space of robberies, we were up about between 50 and 48% up in robberies. And if you look at where we are now, we've driven that down to right now, we're up about 5% in robberies. So we continue to focus on that. Too many of our juveniles are still showing up in the space of committing some of these crimes. We've arrested this year, unfortunately, probably close to about 800 juveniles. This time last year, we were probably around the 700 mark, but that's a lot of our young people who are still involved in crime, and violent crime, I should add. I've said this for a number of months, going back to last year, really, that our young people are showing up in crimes involving shootings, crimes involving carjackings at a pace that I have not seen in my plus 30-year career here with the Metropolitan Police Department. So a continued focus on the young people in our city, especially in the space of prevention and intervention, as well as in the space of accountability and enforcement where MPD is responsible for. It is still very important for us to have all eyes focused in on the young people here in our city.
You talked about the novel nature of the sort of crime that we're seeing amongst young people and that you haven't seen this over your decades-long career. I wonder if you believe that there may be some sort of desperation going on in the city now that's kind of propelling young people to commit crimes in ways that we hadn't seen before.
I think there's several things there. I mean, obviously, we know nationally as we've come out of the pandemic or as we kind of transition away from some of the restrictions that we saw during the pandemic, some of those social constructs, some of those social connections that our young people may have been lacking, I think it's really starting to show up now, very similar to what we're learning about, test scores in the space of education all across the country. We've seen a decline there. And I think that this is really kind of the result of that. I think that in addition to that, certainly in the space of accountability and what happened during over the course of the pandemic, where we were less, from a law enforcement lens, less likely to engage in arrest and that kind of thing. I think that that's also showing up in this space. And we really need to make sure that just kind of as a community that we are all focused in on making sure that those opportunities are there, but also making sure that the accountability is there. Within MPD, we have a very robust police cadet program where we employ young people between the ages of 17 and 24, and we pay them a salary, we send them to college, we're giving them alternatives and opportunities. And I think that as a collective, as a community, we all have to be in that space to give them as many opportunities as we possibly can to do the right thing. And for those who choose and make decisions to do the wrong thing, that there's a measure of accountability in space for them so that they're not making communities less safe for our residents who live here, as well as the visitors to our city.
All right, MPD Chief Robert Contee, thank you so much for your time, sir. We know you're a busy man, so we appreciate you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.